So I'm sitting in the Country Squire coming up with ideas. That might be a good thing, it might be a bad thing. And I'm thinking about this radio here. Now this is the original 6-volt radio that came in the car. I have no idea if this works, and the car's been converted to 12 volts, so I can't really test it anyways. It's not hooked up, it's just in here sort of to fill in this hole. And I like listening to the radio when I'm going down the road. So I added this little guy, which sits in the glove box, and it works great. I've got 2 speakers under here, little like 3 or 4 inch speakers, and then I got 2 like 6-inch speakers in the back that will play USB. It'll play FM radio, which is fantastic. Works really good. The only problem is that it takes up most of my glove box, and it's hard to reach. When you get your seatbelt on, it's hard to reach. I would love to have working radio in the dash where the radio is supposed to be. And I keep thinking that's awfully close to the same size as this part here. That's the only cutout in the dash. And I'm wondering if I can put that in here, keep these 2 knobs, and make some sort of a radio that works in the dash and doesn't look terrible. So I'm going to give this a try. Let's see if it works. So there's my original radio, pretty heavy. Just want to take some rough measurements. So this opening is 4 3/4, maybe 4 7/8 by 2 inches. And this radio is 5 1/8, I'm gonna say, by an 1.5 inches. So it's not exactly the right size. I'm not going to cut this. I refuse to cut the dash for this. But if I make a little filler panel top or bottom, I think I can put that in there and make it look not terrible. And then I think I can come up with a way to mount these cool original radio knobs so that they're still there. They won't do anything, but they'll look good and cover those holes. And I just put that radio in here. We're going to try that for this summer. Maybe it'll work and I'll love it. Maybe I'll hate it and I'll end up putting it back. I'm not going to do anything I can't undo. So here's the radio taken out. It's got a 12-volt hookup, outs for the speakers. Well, there's an MP3 port there that I could potentially use. And it's got a built-in antenna, which works surprisingly well. So, can that go there? I don't hate it. I don't hate it just yet. I need to make it look better, but I don't yet hate it. Yeah, pretty cool. I think I have a plan. So this cool aluminum panel, there is a space. This is not tight up against the steel dash that's behind it. So I'm going to make a plate that is going to fit in between, and it will come out far enough around here that I can use it to also mount the radio and the knobs that I need to fill these holes. It can come up here and get mounted with these existing screws, and it'll hold the radio in place. So it's going to be kind of a Z shape. So it's going to be from up here, it's going to go back there, all behind this piece of aluminum and on top of the dash. Then it'll turn not quite 90 degrees, come down here, so I can mount the radio and the knobs. And then it'll turn 90 degrees back, so the radio will actually sit on top of it. At least that's the idea. Now to make it. So here's where we are. I made this plate and a similar plate that goes in between this aluminum piece and the dash. So that just fills in the gap here because the radio is a little bit shorter than the old one. So what's going to happen is, oh, I had to trim the corner here a little bit. I trimmed it way more than I had to because, you know, that was fine. I didn't need extra there. So what'll happen is this is going to hold the radio and mount behind the dash to studs that I'm making to hold the radio knobs. So this will go back in behind there and hold the radio up. And then the radio is going to come through this opening, and it's, I think, going to look pretty good. So I need a couple more holes drilled in this to figure out exactly how far through this plate I need to drill the holes to hold the radio, and then I can bolt it all together. Okay, so here's the final product with the little radio thing mounted onto this plate, which will mount behind the dash through these holes and to these. I had to hog them out a little bit so that I had a little bit of kind of up and down adjustment. And they're going to mount with these little 3/16 bolts that I made, which once they come through from the back, I can put these knobs on, and it's going to look a lot better than this hole here. Okay, so we got our radio installed. We got our knobs on. They don't do anything. They just look good and cover up those holes. I'm really happy with how this looks. I got the battery hooked up now. Keys on. So let's see if we got music. Here doing something. Loading, whatever that means. Look at that, we got music, even appropriate for the car. That's off of this USB stick, and that changes our source, so that gives us FM. We're in the garage right now, so I don't expect to get very good reception, but oh, there's something. So we do have music. So I'm pretty excited about that. Excited to see how this works out on the road. It's going to be a lot easier than leaning over trying to turn it on in the glove box, and I got my whole glove box back, so I put some gloves or something in there. There's one. Anyways, if you like that video, hit that like button, and if you like seeing stuff like that, hit subscribe so you don't miss my next video, and I'll see you next time out here in the garage.